Hey guys, Brett Weiss here. Welcome to another video. This is an interactive video. I would love you guys to comment on this. Let's talk about the different types of modern arcades. I recently did a video on the biggest and best arcade in Texas. It got a ton of comments and a lot of interaction. And there are some people who hate this type of arcade and get a little angry in some cases. Anyway, let's talk about the 4 arcade business models in the modern era, and that people are mad about a particular one of them, or at the very least disagree with this type of arcade. So let's get to it. All right, there are basically 4 types of arcades in the modern era, and there is some crossover for sure. Number 1, the barcade. The barcade emphasis on drinks and perhaps food. No entrance fee. Fewer machines than a full-fledged arcade, and they're not always in the best working order. I've been to a bunch of these where these arcades, people will get drunk and, not treat these arcades with much care, and they probably don't have someone on site that's continually repairing these and keeping them in the top working condition, like some of the better arcades. And the arcades in general, the video games aren't a high priority, nor the pinball machine. It's more about the drinking and just going out and hanging out and maybe having people go, hey, look, I used to play Pac-Man back in the day. Anyway, that's the barcade. Let me know what you think of barcades. They can be fun, especially if the machines are in good working order. Unfortunately, I've found that not often the case. Sometimes you can get some good drink deals though. So there you go, the barcade. Number 2, this is kind of an interesting model. This is probably the least common model of the modern arcade, where every machine in the arcade costs money and there's no entrance fee. Now, one good thing about this is I can go in and film this kind of arcade without paying any money. And I can just go look around, see if I want to, play some games and just check the place out, maybe take some pictures. So yeah, there is, some advantages to this kind of arcade, but it can get expensive if you want to play. Now, Pinballs with a Z uses this business model, and they're very successful. They have several locations, and every time I go, there's a lot of people in there, and people are having fun and a great time, but you have to pay for everything. Arcade games are cheaper than pinball games, to play pinball machines, but man, this adds up. But we go, it's fun, we enjoy it, and you'll find some machines there you might not find somewhere else. They're very well taken care of. It's a neat place. It's laid out well. There's some cool art on the walls. And guys, if you think of it this way, if you're playing a game that you put money into, every credit counts. You get super excited when you win at pinball, when you pop a credit, when you match, when you get a really high score. You get really excited because, they're higher stakes. You can't just simply play another game for free. Another game's going to cost you money, and pinball, usually $1 or more. So it does make the gaming experience more dramatic, or it can, if you have that mindset. Now, free play arcades, I still get excited. I still, get really pumped when I beat my high score or do really well at pinball or pop a game or whatever. But there's just something about it knowing that just that it's kind of like the old days where you always had to pay, and the stakes are high because you're going to have to pay more money to play unless you pop a game. So yeah, it can be pretty exciting when every machine costs money, but it can get expensive. Let's go to number 3. The free play model. Free play arcades in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. There's a bunch of them, and there's a chain that's actually called Free Play. And you go in and you just pay an entrance fee, and all the arcade games and pinball machines are set to free play. Electric Starship and Time Rift Arcade in the Fort Worth area are 2 arcades I enjoy a lot, and that's exactly how it is. Now, the only machines that there are a lot of free play arcades where, yeah, you do have to pay for the ticket redemption games because you're getting prizes, and the prizes are cheap, but still, you do have to pay for those. But the regular arcade games and pinball machines set to free play. One price, typically around here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it's $12 or $13. I've seen people say in some regions it's $10, some regions it's $20 or $25. It just depends on where you live or how big the arcade is or whatever. But yeah, the free play model is great. And if I had to pick one, I would probably pick the free play arcade model, because you guys know I like a bargain and I like to really get good at a pinball machine or an arcade game. If you can just keep playing it over and over and over without paying money, you can get really good through practice. So I love that aspect of the free play model. All right, guys, next up is number 4. And this is the type of arcade that some people are getting a little irritated about. Now, the best example of this arcade that I've been to is the Push Start Play arcade in Louisville. This is a hybrid model where some games are free to play and some games cost money. Now, in the case of Push Start Play and some others, the arcade games, the coin-op video games, are free to play, and the pinball machines cost money. Now, the reason for this, there's several reasons for this. The pinball machines themselves, especially the newer models, cost between about $7,000 and $15,000 to purchase. These are very expensive, so I get why arcade owners would want to charge people to play pinball. The arcade games, on the other hand, are cheaper and are easier to fix. They have fewer working parts. They don't tend to break down as often as pinball machines. You know, pinball machines have so many working parts. If just one of them gets off, it ruins the experience. And so they have to have constant maintenance on pinball machines with all the moving parts. So I get it that arcade owners would want to charge for pinball, and Push Start Play does this. It's still a great deal. Push Start Play Family Entertainment Center. It's $12 to get in. They have 3 arcade video games on free play. And then they have an incredible assortment of limited edition Stern pinballs, and they've got some beautiful Jersey Jack machines. I've never seen so many limited edition Sterns in one place in my life. It was incredible. Now, when you have to pay for pinball, the stakes are higher and you get more into the game, or at least I did. For example, I played the KISS Stern pinball machine, came out in 2014 or 16, something like that. I played that once at this Push Start Play. You know, I was intending, so at Push Start Play, you get a $5 card to play pinball. So yeah, you do get a $5 card to play some pinball. And the reasoning of this is they want to give you some free pinball, but then also, once you start playing, you'll get hooked and they want you to spend more money on pinball. But I did use my $5, and one of those dollars was on the KISS Stern machine. And on that one game, I got a really high score. I did great, and I popped 2 games on that machine, and I got really excited, like beyond excited. I was ecstatic, ridiculously so. But it meant I could play 2 more games of KISS Pinball free of charge. And on that day, I didn't plan on buying anything beyond that, the $5 card they gave me for free. I didn't plan on paying for more pinball. So in my mind, I was just going to play KISS once, and I got to play it 3 times, which was awesome, super exciting. Now, one of the free play arcades in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the one in Arlington, where the Cowboys and Rangers play, it was a purely free play arcade, where the arcades and the pinball machines were both set on free play. Well, they recently changed their location, that Arlington store, or that Arlington arcade. They changed it completely to a place called Tokyo Station, a Japanese arcade. And they have some American machines in there for sure, including pinball machines. But with a total rearrangement of this arcade, the rebranding, now they charge for the pinball machines. And people definitely got upset at them, especially people that had been going to free play in Arlington for a very long time and had a great time just spending all day there for the low price of $12 and not having to pay anything for pinball. They got used to that. I was going to say spoiled by that, but that's kind of has a negative connotation. They got used to that. So they were, I looked at free play social media when they changed to Tokyo Station. A lot of people were upset. Not only do you now have to pay for pinball, but they got rid of some of the arcades that they used to have. And there aren't as many arcade games because they put in claw machines and all that kind of stuff, some of the more Japanese stuff. So anyway, and on my video about the biggest and best arcade in Texas, had a similar comment as far as, some of the Tokyo Station comments I saw that don't like this hybrid model where you have to pay for pinball. Monroe World Flair said, "It's disappointing that they charge individually for pinball machines. There are massive arcades in Orlando, Florida, where you pay $10 for 8 hours of playtime, and the pinball machines are included. Interesting that they limit it to 8 hours. That's enough for almost anybody. I do like the model where you can come and go as you please. Maybe you could go there first thing in the morning, and if you're like on vacation or having a staycation or whatever, and you're going to spend a full day in that city and do a bunch of other touristy stuff and then come back late that night, you could still get in, but 8 hours should be enough for anyone. That sounds incredible. Orlando, Florida. So yeah, $10. If you've been into any of those, let me know. Pure free play for just $10. That's amazing. And his example in Orlando is Arcade Time, which is open 24 hours a day. That is so cool. I don't believe any of the arcades in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are open 24 hours a day that I know of. That's amazing. And then Monroe World Flair continues. He ends with, "This place charges $1 per day," referring to Push Start Play. No way. So that's a non-starter from Monroe World Flair. Anyway, guys, I do prefer the free play model. I love a bargain, but I totally get it. Pinball machines are expensive to maintain. They have tons of working parts, and they're often abused. One great point I saw from an arcade owner is that with pinball machines, if they're on free play, kids will often push the button a bunch of times, set up 4-player games, and on those modern machines, the ball will, the game will just sort of play itself, and the ball will be shooting everywhere, and it'll sort of cycle through all the games, which puts unnecessary wear and tear on the machine. Another person said, with a pure free play model, someone might, pay the entrance fee and then stay all day for $10 or $12, for 10 or 12 hours, never spend another cent and just play pinball all day. So anyway, guys, please let me know in the comments what you prefer, which model you prefer, the hybrid, the pure free play, the pay as you play, with the free entrance, or the barcade. Let me know in the comments what is your favorite type of arcade. And guys, if you do like video games, which I assume you do since you're at this channel watching this video, please check out my 100 greatest books. This is the second one in the series. Full color coffee table books, just hardcore hardcover books, really well bound and well written, I must say. At least I think so. So yeah, I'll put a link to my books in the description of this video here. Anyway, let me know your favorite arcade that you go to. I'd love to hear from you. What part of the country are you in, and what types of arcades do they have? This modern arcade is amazing. I just love that there are arcades popping up all over the country still, and this has been going on for some time now, about maybe a decade or so, or at least in the last 5 years. It's been amazing, with tons of arcades popping up with a free play model, the hybrid, and then some other versions. All right, guys, thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing. We'll talk to you in another video.